fuck off! God's on the radio. You got Buddha on the audio. Scott Bale on the telephone. Dan Rather at Presidio and put all the knowledge in the same game. Mark on the stereo. You got rum in your Cheerio. Lift up from the get-go. Grab another spoon. It's the most important meal of the day. You gotta. You gotta. You gotta. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up God's on the radio with the world in his video. Phil Collins in the studio. Phil Collins in the studio. Spock on the stereo. You got Drambuie into Cheerio. No better way to let go. Grab another spoon. It's the most important meal of the day. You gotta. You gotta. You gotta. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it up louder. You gotta. I gotta. We gotta. Don't you know we gotta? Don't you know we gotta? Welcome to the show. It's a very, very special show tonight. Hopefully you can hear me. Let's get an audio check. Can we get an audio check? Yes, we've all done that. Audio check. Can I get some feedback on the audio? Maybe what I will do is I will bring in my good buddy, my co-host tonight, T-Rev, and see if he can hear me.
I
Ted.
can hear you.
Then that's perfect. We can hear each other. How are you doing tonight?
I am well. It is Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And you got the drum kit behind you.
Yeah, I'm trying a different locale. My daughters are in the other room doing their thing. So I thought, you know what? Let's move to a different room.
That's cool. You know what? I'm glad you're here early tonight because we wanted to ask you a question. Cindy Lauper asked you for directions in Sarnia. Tell us
True story.
Tell us the story.
It was quite a while ago. It was, it would have been like 2008. I was at work. It was the middle of the day. And Sarnia hosts what they call Silver Stick. It's like an annual hockey tournament. And kids from all over come, like even as far, halfway down into the States, come to Sarnia for this weekend or week-long hockey tournament thing. So it's quite busy here in Sarnia that week that it's on. So it was middle of the day. I was out in the truck. I think I was making a delivery to somebody, going to see a customer, and I was at a stoplight in the center lane. Car pulls up beside me in the right or turning lane, and we're both at the stoplight. I look over at the car, and the driver looks back at me, and it didn't occur to me at first, but it was, her husband, the guy who's in the videos,
Dave
right?
Wolf, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Dave Wolf.
He's the one looking at me in the driver's seat. And I looked at him and I'm like, my brain's going, I recognize that face. Like, anyway, he rolls his window down and he says, "Hey, can you tell us how to get to Clearwater Arena?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, you're right here at the lights. Turn right, and it's down that road." And then the girl in the passenger seat leans forward and looks at me, and she's like, "Thanks, hon." It was friggin' Cyndi Lauper.
Oh my shit.
So they turned right and went to the hockey arena, and I went straight, and I'm like, that was Cyndi Lauper.
Oh my
What the hell
god,
is she doing here?
that's freaking cool.
So it's not like I met her or anything.
No, but well, you kind of did in a way. I mean, you exchanged pleasantries. What else? I mean, that's a meeting.
Just think, right now somewhere she's telling this same story to someone. Only it's
At this exact moment, you mean?
She got to meet me, right?
Right. Well, I wanted to also just mention some rock news this week. Unfortunately, this is a really bad segue because we're going into really sad rock news. But two major rock deaths just in recent days. Jeff LeBar from Cinderella and Gary Corbett, who played keyboards with Paul Stanley, Kiss, and Cinderella. So
Jeez.
Double loss for Cinderella yesterday. And I mean, the band hasn't been active for a number of years. I understand Jeff LeBar had some issues, but it's still sad to see him go. Now there will never be a full-fledged Cinderella ever again. And of course, Gary Corbett, he's been sick for a long time, and they did a fundraiser to help pay for. He had cancer. They were doing a fundraiser for his treatments, and well.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Unfortunately, so we lost two yesterday or the day before. The week is a blur. I haven't shaved. Hopping on a bronze leg all the way from England wants to know if Cyndi Lauper was having fun.
You know it.
You know it.
The funny thing, she was all made up, just like she was in the hair, crazy makeup.
Was she was she playing that night? She must have just gone straight from the dressing room to the arena.
No, I honestly think she just dresses like that all the time.
My mom says hello to you first, of course.
Hello, Mr. Ledano. How are you?
So tonight we were talking to Dave Lizmi from the Four Horsemen. Mm-hmm. We were just waiting for him to show up tonight. But I was doing a lot of listening on the way to the lake today. And, if there was ever a band that needed more exposure online, more knowledge, more stories, it's the Four Horsemen. There's so many blank spaces in their history. So we are going to hopefully shine a light. I know you have some questions lined up. I have some questions lined up. We will probably, I have reader questions. So anything, and actually he said on Instagram, he said, taking all questions. So
I saw that actually, yeah.
So yeah, this should be a fun night. Killing 4 minutes before he arrives, I'm going to play a music video.
Okay.
This is.
I'm going to drink a beer.
You're going to drink a beer. I'm going to drink my coffee. We've already played one Maxi Axe track tonight, so why not another? This is Maxi Axe with Next Plane to Vegas.
I can't put my thumbs up.
Crown Royal apple.
Slaint.
Captain Courageous, next plane to Vegas. I gotta go. Not so outrageous, next plane to Vegas. Win, place, oh, show me the money. Drink for my honey. It's only 35 to 1. Betting on the ponies. I'm here till the deal is won. Trust on yourself, just deal it on the belt. Behold what is to be seen. Knowing what I'm holding, got a handful of dreams. Captain Courageous, next plane to Vegas. I gotta go. Not so outrageous, next plane to Vegas. Win, place, or show me the latest on a plane to Vegas. Playing on the red and the black. Place it on a number 21 or under. Pay me stack after stack. Hey, winner, love that chicken dinner. Take it in a briefcase of gold. A bit of lucky 7, hit me on 11. Make it in time for the show. Captain Courageous, next plane to Vegas. I gotta go. Not so outrageous, next plane to Vegas. Win, place, or show. Captain Courageous, next plane to Vegas. I gotta go. Not so outrageous, next plane to Vegas. Win, place, or show.
It is 7 p.m. And we are waiting on Dave.
Le Dave.
I just sent him a message. Said we are good to go. I don't know where Dave is.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we have a message here for you. For Mr. Eric Litwiller.
Eat.
That's I don't even know how to respond to that. So I won't.
Step 69 is always the best step.
And we have yeah, I don't know. Well, that's nice. Now, what is that? Is that a replica?
Yeah, it's a little goofy. This is one of those Gibson EP 455s, like Noel Gallagher plays or something, whatever it's called.
Right. Yeah. I weird thing. I went on my Disney Plus earlier today, and the very first thing that I saw, the very first image on my Disney Plus was a picture of Paul McCartney and Rick Rubin. And so I guess there's some kind of Paul McCartney documentary or special on Disney Plus. I don't know. I guess Paul McCartney worked with Rick Rubin on this. I don't know. It was on my Disney Plus when I logged in today.
Yeah. I didn't even know those guys really knew each other. But
no kidding. But how many?
I don't really know either one of them. So,
I mean, how many? It had to be Rick Rubin. How many white-haired, white-bearded dudes wearing shorts are there?
Although sometimes I mix him up for Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes. They look kind of similar. Depends on if they just ate a meal or not.
Chris Robinson does, however, go for the clean-cut look from time to time.
Yes.
It depends on what kind of Black Crowes era we're in. If they're doing like the psychedelic hippie jam, forget about it. He's going beard.
Not the Kate Hudson era.
Yeah, that wasn't my favorite time for the Black Crowes, and I don't know. Black Crowes are kind of like a first 3 albums kind of band for me, with a couple later on albums.
Indeed. Three Snakes, One Charm is where I got out. I like that album, but after that, I don't.
Even that album, though, is somewhat difficult. Like, if I threw out a song title at you, there's a good solid chance you wouldn't know how it goes anymore.
That is quite possible. But that's because I'm getting old.
Do you guys feel like you are starring in a live sequel, Deja Vu 2? No, and I'll tell you why.
A little bit.
I will refute this. I'll tell you why. It's because last time, at least Dave messaged me half an hour beforehand saying that he wasn't going to be here. This time, I don't know where he is. I have no idea. I don't know. I have, there's nothing in the private chat here.
You could grab your guitar, Mike, and I'll play the drums, and we'll just make music online.
Just jam? Just jam?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was unprepared for this eventuality this time. I thought we would be good to go, and we could be. But why don't we pass the time in the meantime with some good old stories from some of your favorite live concert experiences and some of our favorite live concert experiences. But okay. I will start with one of my favorite memories from 25 years ago this summer. Like 25 years ago this July. Believe you were there. Tom Morwood. Kiss.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Broken transmission. Or was it a transmission?
It was.
Or something.
Yeah. And a homeless dude offered the helpful advice. Hey, just pack that thing full of grease and you'll be fine. I would know. I used to be a mechanic.
You used to be.
Now, here's another memory. We returned to Toronto, you and I, the following week to go to HMV. The same homeless guy said to me, "Cool shirt, man," because I was wearing my Deep Purple Machine Head.
Man, I don't remember that it was the same dude. Speaking of that, we also went back to see Deep Purple.
I think that was I think that was like late 96, like November or early 97, but it was perpendicular tour.
1 sec, I can tell you.
Oh, you got the ticket?
I got the ticket stub right here.
Oh, no way.
Somewhere. Yeah, and Wild Tea in the Spirit opened up.
That's right, Tony Springer.
And he was just super happy to be there.
Yeah.
Remember how thankful he was?
Yeah, that was a big gig too.
Okay, let me see if I can find this. You keep talking. Phil.
Okay, so Deep Purple.
Right here somewhere.
Deep Purple, we saw with, again, Tom Morwood, and I believe Eric might have been there. There we go.
Probably can't read that, can you?
No, we can't read it. The Warehouse was the venue. November 20, 1996. Damn, I got it down to the month. And Eric Litwiller was at that show. My favorite memory from that show, I remember you loved Fireball. Oh, and no one came. No one came.
And sometimes I feel like screaming.
Yes.
Which is always a good tune.
But my favorite live moment from that show was in Woman from Tokyo. When, you know, the quiet part, na, 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 and then at the end of that quiet part, it just goes back into the riff, just bam, 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 bam. The whole floor of the Warehouse just ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. They were just, when that part kicked in, it was just euphoria. And it was funny because I was making fun of the crowd that night, being like, look, Trev, it's all old dudes in baseball caps. And now we're in that demographic.
Let's go see Deep Purple.
Man,
I went with my friend Colin, who is another massive Steve Earle fan. Actually, he's probably responsible for getting him and his brother for getting me into Steve Earle. He called me up and said, "Listen, Steve Earle's coming to London, we got to go because nobody else can go with me, and I want to go. I'm like, I'll go. So of course we went, and it was I think it was the Guitar Town 30th anniversary or 25th anniversary tour, something like that. Anyway, showed up at the show, and of course, Mr. Eric, Tom, who else was there? There's another fellow there. We ran into them, so we all hung out together and watched Steve Earle. It was awesome.
I went to see Black Sabbath with those guys, and that was at Lulu's, and I think that might have been my first Tom concert experience, but no, maybe not. Queensryche and Typo Negative just a few weeks earlier.
Tom went to see Typo Negative?
Yeah, well, they happen to be opening for Queensryche, but yeah, Tom has seen Typo Negative, but he did make a point of missing like the first song or two.
Like the Headstones opening up for Nickelback.
Eric's Eric's highlight from the Deep Purple concert was the exchange of leads between Steve Morse and the late John Lord, which is obviously John Lord is somebody we're very grateful for have seen live, but Steve Morse is Eric Litwiller's favorite guitar player in the entire world, so he would appreciate that moment more than I could ever. But yeah, I mean, we saw Steve Morse live. That's pretty cool. And John Lord.
Yeah. It was pretty much the original lineup, wasn't it? Except for, obviously...
it was Morse instead of Blackmore.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, that was a great show. I remember that was a fantastic show.
I forgot about Wild Tea in the Spirit, though, but that's true.
Yeah. And like, after every song, he's like, thank you very much. It's so great to be here. I just want to thank everybody for letting us come on the tour and doing, it's so great to be here.
Was that your first time seeing him? Have you seen him before?
No.
Oh.
I guess, though, if I got asked to open for Deep Purple, I'd probably be the same way.
Oh, yeah. No, that was a killer show. It's too bad I haven't seen them since. They did a gig in Toronto with Jethro Tull. That would have been fun. But a couple of my buddies are always complaining that Ian Gillan's voice isn't what it used to be. But
neither's anybody's, right?
Yeah, neither's anybody's. But in '96, he was still pretty good.
I maintain that's the reason that Robert Plant won't get back together and do Zeppelin, because he can't. He doesn't want to come out and say it, but his register is he can't do those anymore, so he doesn't want to ruin the memory, right?
But having said that, the Celebration Day Blu-ray is quite good. Now, that was a few years ago now.
Yeah, but you can, you play your songs down a key or two, and you don't have to hit those notes anymore. It sounds like you're nailing it, right? But you're playing it a couple steps down. Mm-hmm. Now you don't have to go into that next octave, right? So
yeah. Still, I do enjoy that. I mean, you can't really compare it to classic Zeppelin live. The live at the BBC album's really good. How the West Was Won was really good. For vintage Zeppelin, that's the buck stops there. But I enjoy that Celebration Day thing. It's
great. Yeah.
It's nice. For years, we're like, wish Zeppelin would get back together. And then instead of Zeppelin, you get Coverdale Page, right?
Well, that's cool too.
Parlor singing at times. Well, it's true, and you hear a lot of singers kind of cheat their way out of certain notes, and Rob Halford from Judas Priest is really good at kind of like using different notes to avoid having to hit the higher ones. But you take what you can get at this point. Judas Priest are celebrating their 50th anniversary. I'm just grateful they're still touring, even though it's
sometimes it's just being in the same room with them, right? I don't really care what they're doing on stage, to be honest. Sometimes.
I saw Gordon Lightfoot maybe 10 years ago, and his voice is just a whisper now. Like, he used to be known for that baritone, right? And it's just a whisper now, but it was being in the room with him. That was the thing, right? And the live experience.
Yes, well, that's always the best, right? Like, listening to music at home is great, but being in the room with said artist is always completely different than sitting at home listening to it or driving in your car.
Yeah. It doesn't feel real. But when you're there in the room and things happen live that, don't happen on a live CD, like a broken drumstick, for example. I've seen you been like, oh, did you see him? How quick he grabbed that other stick,
Yeah, we speaking of that, we went to Wes. My friend Wes and I went to the Motley Crew final tour,
The end.
the first one,
Yeah.
and Wes caught a drumstick. Son of a bitch!
Oh.
So he's got a Tommy Lee drumstick at home from that tour, bastard.
Now that's a band that I wouldn't pay to see live anymore because unfortunately, I don't think that singer particularly gives her anymore.
No, and it was that's one of those ones. Just being there was the cool part. The sound was horrible. The sound was way too loud. Everything was distorting all the time. My head hurt for 3 days afterwards. It wasn't enjoyable, other than being there and seeing them. Right?
Yeah. You know, I think my head hurt the most at Motorhead. It just makes sense, though.
Loudest band on earth.
You know, I'll tell you a funny story. And I'm going to be talking about this. I remember the concert very clearly, but my very first concert was Helix at the Center in the Square in 1987. And there was this one kid from school that was also at the Helix concert. His name was Brian Knight. And he lived down the street. He was an older kid and kind of a braggart a bit, right? But he'd already seen a few concerts, and Helix wasn't that big of a deal to him. So he was all the next day at school, yeah, Helix were okay, but I've seen better. While the rest of us, it's our first concert. We were just like, Helix are the best band in the world, man. Well, funny story is that Brian Knight ended up roadieing for Helix for years after high school.
Really?
Do you remember that Helix special on Much Music called Waltzing with Helix, where they're in Europe? They're going to Vienna.
No.
Well, they did this Much Music hour-long special, and Brian Knight's in that video as one of the roadies. Wow. Brian Vollmer thanked him in his autobiography, although he spelled his last name wrong. But unfortunately, Brian Knight he just passed away this year. I know, and it's like the guy was only 2 years older than me. So it's like, shit. It really sucks when your neighborhood guys are gone.
It is unfortunately that time in our lives, right?
Yeah, Shouldn't
be.
Shouldn't be. I know I've done my best to educate you in the ways of science fiction, and most science fiction told us we'd be living to 150.
Well, they didn't say when that would start happening, though, right?
No, they didn't. But I think we're already behind the times because isn't Judgment Day? Didn't it already happen?
Yes.
So Judgment Day happened. We've already gone past the point in Back to the Future where Marty McFly goes into the future. So we are way behind schedule at this point. Yeah,
and what was that other movie? Something about 2012. That was the other one that was a world end event.
Yep. The world ending event 2012 didn't happen.
Busta Rhymes thought it was 2000.
And a good buddy of ours, Matt Greenoff, had a song on his album by Here Comes Jim called 5/5/2000. It was an instrumental. Do you remember this?
I still have the album, but I don't remember.
There's a track on there called 5/5/2000, and when we asked Matt, what's the significance of this? He says, oh, that's another date that could have been the end of the world. We already got through Y2K, but now we have to get through 5/5/2000. I don't know where he learned that. Maybe it was some kind of Aztec thing or Egyptian or something, but that came from Matt Greenoff, and that's what the track 5/5/2000 is about.
Jeez.
Yeah. Love that album. I was way into that album.
Those were fun times.
Well,
yeah. Do you think Dave? Do you think is it possible that he's having trouble logging on, or
I've heard nothing from him. I've messaged him.
Is he just ignoring us now?
I don't know. I could try phoning him, but don't know if I want to do that.
I tried sending him a message too, but
I do have his phone number. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable intruding on him in that way. I don't know.
He's missing his darn appointment.
It's a good thing we're not the dentist because we'd have to charge him for it. And that's expensive in the United States, I think, isn't it? I don't know.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so back to concerts. This is going to date me. Check this out. I'm going to...
Okay.
You see that?
Oh yeah, I do. I'm trying to identify the band. It's so familiar. Is that Loverboy? It is Loverboy.
It is indeed. And see, probably can't see that.
I see chest hair. Oh, it's signed by Paul Dean. Signed by all of them. Even Mike Reno?
Yep.
My mom loved Mike Reno back in the days of Tears Are Not Enough. I just got a message. No, it's not Dave. Tears Are Not Enough. Remember that song, the Canadian equivalent to We Are the World? Paul Reno or Mike Reno, I should say, had a really good vocal spot in there, and my mom really liked Mike Reno, but she always liked Geddy Lee's part. Oh, you know that we'll be there. She loved that part where Geddy just gives her in that song. So, yeah, my mom's a Geddy Lee fan.
Yeah. I've only met like 2 people in my life that aren't Rush fans.
I wish, you know what? I'm going to send Eric Litwiller an invite. I want him to tell the story of meeting. When I say meeting, I mean it very loosely, but I want him to tell the story of meeting Geddy Lee. So I'm going to invite Eric Litwiller, because if Dave Lizmi's not showing up, why not, right?
Yes.
Eric Litwiller, I'm sending you an invite link in a moment. There we go. Why not? Well, we're improvising tonight, folks. We don't know what happened to Dave. Earlier this week, he said he was good to go. He even put it on his Instagram, and we don't know where he is. And yes, Geddy is a legendary Blue Jays fan. Eric Litwiller has basically met Geddy Lee, basically. And I love this story. But we'll see if he logs in. I have only seen Rush 1.5 times. The first time was with you? 98 on the retrospective tour? Tom Morwood?
The Molson Amphitheater?
Yeah.
Well, I saw him there.
Tyler Genereux was there that night, and he was all about John Bonham. Wouldn't shut up about John Bonham. And then we said, just wait until you see this tonight. Just wait. And I remember after the concert, he's like, that drummer, oh my God. He was like 15. Tyler Genereux was like 15. It's kind of special to have been there for his very first Rush experience, you know?
Two of my favorite drummers, very different in their styles, but equally awesome.
Yeah, very different in style, but equally awesome. One thing I respected about Neil Peart, and I didn't appreciate because I'm musically naive compared to him, but he really praised Johnny Faye from the Tragically Hip's drumming. And we used to kind of make fun of him at the record store, you know, like all he does is,
yeah, it's well,
you know, but
there are some fancy beats, but yes,
Peart was just praising him. He's like, one of my favorite drummers is Johnny Faye. You know, I just love his simplicity. I just love the way he just plays for the beat, and yeah, I love his feel. And it's like, you know what, I'm missing something here. Maybe it's not all about this.
Yeah, this same argument could be had for Ringo, right?
Absolutely. Although, you know, there's a few Beatles tracks where I really enjoy the drumming too.
Well, Ringo's got some crazy time signatures that don't sound crazy, but they sound simple. So people are like, oh, he's a boring drummer, but he's like, you try doing that, right?
Charlie Watts.
Charlie Watts. Classically and jazz trained drummer.
Yeah.
Rock and roll is simple compared to that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if Dave's showing up. I'm going to kill the banner and I'm going to change the background. I hope Eric joins us. I hope he does. He's probably just finishing a cigarette. You've never been on with him before, but he just like, he goes into the witness protection program. You'll see him like walk into a basement and just smoke a cigarette and then walk back out again. It's so strange sometimes. Oh, shit. Do you remember when Primus? No, it wasn't Primus. It was the Claypool Lennon Extravaganza or whatever they call themselves. When they played Toronto a couple of years ago. That's where Eric ran into Geddy Lee.
Ran into
Geddy Lee. Almost. You know, it's a good story. My 1.5 time seeing Rush was at one time with you, and I believe they played. Did they play all of side one of 2112 or something like that?
They didn't play the whole thing, but they played, like a big bulk of it.
Like 80% of it anyway. That was a great tour. The second time I saw Rush was after I got married to Jen, and she fell at the fucking whatever it's called, the ACC. She fell, so I'm like, you know what? Let's go home. I'm just too freaked out. So we ended up going home during the intermission. But yeah, it's like the only thing that can take me out of a concert is seeing her fall down a flight of stairs. It's just no fun. So I was not having any fun, and I just wanted to go home. So 1.5 times I've seen Rush. That would have been Snakes and Arrows tour.
Well, I've only seen him the once.
Oh wow!
That we went. So you got me beat there.
That was a great tour, though, and that was just before Neil's dual tragedies. It was like less than a year or something like that. It was so sad. It was right around Canada Day weekend too, so it was kind of like there was this Canada Day celebration in the air. Blue Jays are coming home. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I guess they're playing home games again. I don't know. I don't know shit about sports.
So yeah, where's Dave? What's going on?
Where's Dave?
How's he going to make up for this one?
I don't know. This might be strike 2. I got nothing. Oh, Blue Jays are coming home July 30th. So I guess home games are going to be allowed. I don't know. I really have not been keeping up to date with all the different Ontario closures and reopenings and everything. It's like I don't know what the hell's going on. I have no idea.
Apparently today is a milestone. There's a bunch of stuff opening up today, indoor dining and all that stuff.
Yeah. I know a few friends of mine are talking about going to see movies.
Yeah, the theaters here are opening too.
I wouldn't mind doing that, except for I don't know what the heck's playing. I got Black Widow on my Disney Plus. I've already paid for it, so I'm not going to go see it in the theater.
Space Jam 2.
Oh, yeah. We've been waiting 25 years for that sequel.
Space Jam 2.
I don't know if Eric Litwiller's showing up or not. Man, I'm getting skunked by Eric Litwiller.
Tell Eric to grab a beer and get on here.
He's probably smoking a joint, and he's going to join us any minute, I'm hoping. Hey, look, doggy.
As will I.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a kind of a bummer. But what can you do? I have just my Nespresso, and I have actually a Pop Shop. I have a Pop Shop cream soda. Remember Pop Shop?
I do. There's one on, was it Cortland Ave? No.
I don't remember.
Ottawa and Highland or Hyman. There was a Pop Shop where
when we were kids. My mom used to buy Pop Shop at Nectals.
Nectals.
Remember Nectals?
I do. Downtown, right? Was it downtown?
It was. I don't remember. But I remember they had great candy.
Oh no, I was Central Meat Market.
Central Meat Market is downtown.
That was the one that was downtown.
Still is, near the hospital. I'm tempted to tell the Eric Litwiller story. I don't have anything nearly as good as the Eric Litwiller story, but the Kiss one, we can talk about that all night because it took all night to get us home. We were there with a bunch of guys, and like you said, the transmission of the car broke down.
But we didn't know that.
Because Tom had to fucking go to Tower. Oh, Nectals was at Krug. That's right. Oh, and Chris Sarr worked there. So Tom had to go to Tower Records, which closed at midnight. He went to Tower Records and bought his.
This is all after the concert.
Right, after the concert. Oh, I got to check. Remember? I got to check country. Jazz. You'd be there for an hour. We were waiting outside. Tom shows up. He bought some like Jerry Jeff Walker or whatever it was.
Back at the chicken shack.
God, he would always he'd get the service guy and ask him annoying questions like, "Yeah, do you have Willie Nelson, full Nelson?" Dude, if it's not in the section, that's my policy. If it's not in the section, you don't have it. Oh, here we go. I'm going to finish my Kiss story. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
So we were waiting. It was a guy named Johnny. And I think Johnny is no longer with us. But
Yes.
Johnny's car, the tranny broke, and we didn't find out until he started walking down the street towards us. And we're like, why is he walking? Why is he not picking us up in a car? And at that point, the tranny was fucked. The homeless guy told us we just needed to pack it full of grease. We ended up walking back to the car, and there were a bunch of dudes sitting on the car, drunk guys.
Yeah.
Do you remember those guys?
Yes.
One of them asked you if you wanted to, if you made $1 million because he was trying, and you're like, "Who the fuck are you?" But long story short, we ended up going to a Subway to get something to eat. They had no bread. We ended
Man,
up.
I don't remember that Subway part.
I sure do.
All that other stuff I remember.
We ended up stopping at like a Toronto street side cafe for just something to drink while we waited for, I believe, Johnny's sister to come and pick us up from Kitchener. She'd already been at the Kiss concert. She drove all the way back home to Kitchener. Johnny called her, and she was coming back to Toronto to pick us up.
Yeah, that's
and we
Johnny
got
Stanwyck.
Yeah,
Johnny Stanwyck.
Yeah.
I seem to remember the conversation with these fellas that were sitting on the car getting a little more heated than that.
They were calling each other a name that I won't repeat because it's not politically correct.
But it got heated because like somebody was telling them to get off the car.
Yeah.
And they weren't gonna, and then
they were loaded. They were drunk.
They got off the car like they were gonna fight us or something. And then Tom's brother, who I think was a fairly big dude,
Tim,
he was in the military or something.
Police.
Was he? Oh, police. Okay. And he got in this guy's face, and I'm like, oh my god, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna have like 5-on-5 fight downtown Toronto.
It was more that they were fighting with each other. This is the way I remember. I'll say what they were saying. Okay, I am just repeating what they said. Okay, these gentlemen were saying to each other, and they were all of the same ethnicity. Fuck you, Packy. No, fuck you, Packy.
Oh, I thought they were Mexican.
They were referring to each other.
Was I even there? What the fuck?
Yes, I will never forget them saying that to each other. And yeah, they were more fighting with each other than us. We were just like kind of just stumbling into it. What they happened to be sitting on Johnny's car.
I do remember all that.
What a nightmare scenario. So tonight's replacement special guest is going to tell us a story.
Me?
Yeah, I'd like you to tell us the story of Geddy Lee. And make it.
I've told that story.
Trev hasn't heard it.
Well, maybe he hasn't heard it.
Dude, I'm improvising here. If you have any better ideas, tell us.
You know Dave's phone number?
What's that?
Do you know Dave's phone number? Oh,
I got Dave's phone number, but I'm not going to call him. I don't feel comfortable.
I want to hear the Rush story now.
I think you should at least try him. I mean, that would seem.
Or if you have his number, I would just text him.
Something.
Right?
Something.
It's a good idea. Something. I'm going to do that.
But anyway, I think it was 2019. It was
2019.
And went and saw Lennon Claypool Delirium. Les Claypool and Sean Lennon. It was wild. They had a new album out and covers at the time, and I was into it. So there's some opening band we saw. I can't remember who it was. Then we're standing in front of the Danforth Music Hall and smoking a big fat joint, and don't even realize that we're right beside a tour bus. And in mid drag, all of a sudden the bus opens, and I happen to be standing right, like less than feet from it, right there. And all of a sudden it's Geddy Lee, and I exhaled right in his face. And it's like it was a passage to Bangkok, like 2. For him. So yeah,
I think you're implying that Geddy Lee is almost as tall as you are.
But see, at the time too, it was also like, well, why is Geddy Lee here? And so then it was speculation all night. Well, and of course, then the last song that they did was "Tomorrow Never Knows" by the Beatles.
That's one of
And
my
it's Sean
favorites.
Lennon that's singing it, and it sounds obviously very much like John Lennon. And then Geddy Lee comes out, and he's playing bass and jamming for 5 minutes. So it was wild. It was a neat night.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my favorite concert story of all time.
That is.
It was a neat one. I'll say that.
Yeah, I've not the most famous person I think I've ever met is maybe Kim Mitchell.
That's a pretty good one.
That's a famous one.
Eric's met actually Geddy. You've met him twice. You met Geddy and Alex. Sort of met.
Yeah, that was.
Met.
Yeah, but those meet and greet things are so
Yeah.
like you're not really meeting.
You even wore your SCTV Bobby Bittman T-shirt to see if they'd react to it, and
Yeah,
nothing.
nothing.
You got nothing.
But if you look really closely at the picture, Tom, I believe it looks like he's like doing some sort of anal love to Alex Lifeson. If you look really closely, it looks like, and Alex Lifeson is really liking it too. Like it looks like he's enjoying the presence of some sort of probing that's going on.
Is that the picture Tom has online?
Yeah.
With him and Alex?
Yeah. If you look at it, man, Alex Lifeson is really happy.
Yeah.
Woo.
I have like no phone connection here, so my text message isn't getting through.
Yeah. When's the last time we talked to Lizmi?
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you talked to him like on the phone, or was it like
Not
an
on the
email?
phone, but on Facebook. I sent him the link. He asked if that was the link to share to his social media, and I said, no, that's YouTube. The YouTube link, I'll get you that. I sent him the YouTube link so he could share that with his social media. Gave him a thumbs up, and haven't heard from him since 2 days ago. But yeah, it's not.
You want me to tell my meeting Kim Mitchell story?
Yeah,
Do it.
It was here in Sarnia, where Kim Mitchell is from. Ironically.
he's a Sarnia boy.
Yeah.
So, the guy I work with now belongs to a Taekwondo club, and that club was asked to be the security at a later this summer. This was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe. Anyway, it was Kim Mitchell and Tom Cochran.
Nice.
So he, knowing that I was a Kim Mitchell fan, asked if I wanted to come help. And I said, of course I do. So just by saying that I would help meant that I got into the concert for free.
Huh.
So on top of that awesomeness, our job was to stand at the front of the stage, between the stage and the front row of people, and make sure no hooliganism went on.
Soccer hooliganism.
So literally, Kim Mitchell is behind me, up on stage, like right there, the whole concert.
Wow.
So because Kim Mitchell opened the show, and then Tom Cochran was coming on after, the other responsibility of said people were to help take down the stage.
Whoa.
So I was on stage helping Kim Mitchell. Well, not he. Kim wasn't doing it, but helping the road crew take down all the gear, like moving guitars, moving drums, moving mic stands, stealing guitar picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so after the show, we got all of his stuff off, and Tom Cochran started playing, and I sparked up a conversation with the tour manager out behind the stage as we're packing all of Kim Mitchell's stuff in his truck. And that's when the guy, we got talking about the Four Horsemen, oddly enough. He knew, he was friends with, I think it was Randy Castillo, who did the drums.
Randy Cook.
Randy Cook, sorry. On the Four Horsemen album. He's like, oh, we're best friends. I was the best man at his wedding. I'm like, you're what? So we're talking about that, and then Kim Mitchell comes by to make sure everything's okay, and me, like a little goofy schoolgirl, right? Oh, hi Kim, I'm a big fan. Shook his hand. He was all weird because what's that? The drummer from Max Webster,
Gary McCracken.
Gary McCracken was there, right beside us, drunk out of his fucking head, and it was making Kim really upset all night, to the point where something happened to Gary and the police were called and they were dealing with Gary.
Oh no!
Behind the scenes, right during the concert, and then so Kim was all frazzled about that. So he literally sort of blew me off. Right? He's kind of like, "Oh, thanks for being here," and then took off right into his cab and went to his whatever. But I met him for about 14 seconds, and I got to carry Blue in the guitar case, his famous guitar. Right?
Whoa, that's cool.
That's my meeting Kim Mitchell story.
That is a pretty good story. That is a pretty good story.
Yeah. Free concert and got to carry his guitar.
I will briefly share my meeting Walter Ostanek story.
Come on.
These earbuds are painful. Ugh. I don't think they're supposed to be painful. I was working at the record store. It was Oktoberfest, and a portly gentleman came in asking if we had any Oktoberfest CDs in stock. And of course, as you know, we never did. We were a used CD store. Oktoberfest CDs are rare in the first place.
Yeah, I was going to say, are there Oktoberfest CDs? I don't understand.
There are. They're
there.
But, you know, they're rare in the first place. When you find one, you generally don't sell it.
Right beside the Thanksgiving CDs.
Exactly. Something like really find them in your Hallmark store. And third, you're not going to find a used Oktoberfest CD in stock at Oktoberfest time.
Oh,
but this gentleman asked me if we had any in stock. I replied no, and he handed me his business card. And he goes, if you need any, give me a call. Walter Ostanek. So I said, at this point, I said to him, oh, you're that guy who won the Juno Awards. And he just deadpanned. He says, they were Grammys.
Dick. Oh boy.
Yeah. Fuck that one up. Oh well. I'd like to keep going until 8. Maybe he's in a different time zone and thinks it's not 7 yet. I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, where does he live? Do you know roughly?
I think he's in our time zone. Hang on.
Like Carolinas? Does he live in the Carolinas or Maine or like that? It's East Coast, isn't it?
East Coast. He should be in the same sign zone as us. No, same time zone. He's in the Baltimore area, Maryland.
Oh, okay. So he's more east than us.
Yeah.
So he should have been before us. Maybe he logged on half an hour before us. And
he never messaged me. Okay, Eric's back. I don't know. He never messaged me. Get your earbuds in. Get your earbuds in. I can hear me. I don't know.
Weird problems.
I don't know. Get your earbuds in.
There we go.
Oh,
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
I'm not echoing or anything?
No, it's him. It's him. It's all him.
It is you who are the ball lickers.
Fine now.
Maryland. There you go.
It's fine.
Yeah,
now.
I don't know where he is. I don't know, and I can't text him because I got no phone reception. So
okay, I got a CanCon story for you that I've never told on the show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. There's a bar in Waterloo that's no longer. I've seen a lot of shows at. I saw Steve Earle there. Called the Starlight.
Remember the Starlight?
I've had the pleasure of playing there a few times, and it always seems to be, in the opening kind of thing. The last time we played there, I got to open for Teenage Head and whatever. but I played there twice in 2008. The first time we opened for a band called Come On, and that is Sir Ian Blurton from A Change of Heart and some other band. And that was great. I remember we opened for that, and I remember speaking to Ian Blurton afterwards, and he was so cool. He's really, really cool. It was like right on. Like that's a cool guy, and And then we got a call a month later, and we got to open up for a band again at Starlight. And this time it was a band called Grady. Now Grady is a Gordy Johnson band. Right? So we played there, and honestly, at the time, I really loved the show because we played. It was just us and Grady, and by the time that we were 2/3 done, like that place was 2/3 packed, and of course we didn't get any money for it or anything like that. But but it was nice to be, and we played all original stuff, which was really cool. I mean, it really, really went well. And I remember in between, before Grady played, there we are, and we're outside of the Starlight at the back. And if you know the Starlight area, like at the back of the
it's an alleyway, isn't it?
What?
It's an alleyway, isn't it? The back of the Starlight?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is an alleyway back there. It is. Like the actual dressing room itself is really small. It's kind of it's just cool. It's neat. It's cool. Yeah. But here you're right. It's an alleyway. It's pretty much like a back alleyway. And I remember, we played the show and we're all happy. Hey, we played it. I go outside. I having a smoke, having a beer. I may be having more than a smoke at the time. And all of a sudden, this guy comes out, and it's Gordy Johnson dressed in all black, wearing a black cowboy hat, black, done-up shirt, black, kind of either leather pants or jeans or whatever, black shit-kicking boots, and he is bitching that I have left the door open because he has a draft. And I remember going, sorry, man. And just as he's slamming the door open, there's a guy that's over the other side who's going man, you think the man in black might be a little tougher, and then slam. And that's a true story. Wow. So it's it was like Ian Blurton was a sweetheart, and then, Gordy Johnson was kind of not.
Could you close the door? It's affecting my makeup.
Speaking of I
will say this. Then we go and watch Grady, and oh my God, some of the heaviest guitar in that. That's heavier than Big Sugar stuff.
Yes.
Oh my God,
different.
Man. They fucking kicked ass. There's no way around it. But he didn't necessarily kick ass as a person.
Segueing from what you just said, Ian Blurton. He appeared in a documentary last year called $5 at the Door, the story of Crocs and Rolls, which is a club up in Thunder Bay. And we actually had the owner of Crocs, Mr. Frank Lafredo, on the show back in the fall. And one of my favorite parts of this documentary, which is essentially about Frank, he was hosting Henry Rollins at his club, Crocs. And at the end of the night, he realized he shortchanged him from the door, from his take at the door. He realized he shortchanged Henry Rollins $5. You wouldn't think it's a big deal, but Frank, that was a big deal. So he had one of his employees was going to be in New York, where Henry Rollins was, and he said, "Here's $5. I want you to give this to Rollins, and I want you to provide proof that you gave it to Rollins." So sure enough, the guy met Rollins. They took a selfie picture of him handing Henry Rollins this $5 bill, shaking hands, and Frank was like, "Good, the books are clean. The ledger is even."
That's
it's
pretty
like,
cool.
it is pretty cool. And it was an honor having Frank on the show. I mean, that guy has seen so much rock and roll royalty coming in through Crocs. Because essentially, if you're touring Canada, the story goes like this. You got to go from east to west, west to east, but no matter how you do it, you got to go through Thunder Bay. There's no other way to get across Canada. So inevitably, there's this kind of dead space between like Winnipeg and whatever. You got to play Thunder Bay. You got to stop in Thunder Bay. It's like the only stop. So Crocs and Rolls kind of became this crossroads of Canada where every band would come through there and cut their teeth and become a band. And what Frank would do is if you were in a band and you played his club that night and you sucked, he would let you come back on the second leg of your tour or on your next tour because he knew that these bands, they needed a chance to play live, stretch their legs, and become a band. So he's always willing to let them come back, and he really enjoyed seeing these bands start as shitty garage bands, and then by the end of the tour, they're professionals. So it's a cool movie. We were fortunate enough to see it for free when it was available for free, but it is probably not currently. But keep it in mind. Crocs and Rolls. Great movie. Yeah.
So I'm finally going to see another concert again.
Which one?
5 Alarm Funk.
Oh yeah. They're coming to London, right?
Well, they're coming to London, Hamilton, and Toronto. I have a ticket right now only for the Hamilton show. There's been some talk of possible the London as well. I can't wait. I've seen them 5 times. This is going to be number 6. I knew that they would end up being one of the first ones out because that's the hardest working band I've ever seen. Trev, are you in Sarnia, you said? Is that where you are?
Yep.
How far are you from London?
Hour.
Well, it's a thought for a band called 5 Alarm Funk who's playing London. They're amazing. They're an amazing band, man.
As a drummer, you would love it.
Their
lead player is actually a drummer. They're a drummer.
Yeah, the drummer sits in front of everyone because he's the band leader. He's the Buddy Rich leader of this band. He's the leader of this band for sure, and you can tell he looks like Animal, but in better shape.
He's always wearing like tiger striped shorts.
Oh yeah. I can't say I'm familiar with their stuff, but I would check it out for sure.
I've seen him 5 times, and at least twice, if not 3 times, I've shook his hand and said the same thing every time. I've never seen anybody have more fun playing music in my life, and that is the way he is. He's just so addictive. A great player.
He really does look like Animal.
I don't think they're playing Sarnia, but it wouldn't surprise me. I've seen the list, but I don't remember seeing that in there. But who knows? Like,
yeah,
but it's about time, man.
There's not a lot of places in Sarnia to play anymore. A couple of them closed up shortly before COVID, and it sucks. But
just like KW.
Yeah, of the few places that they could play, if they end up playing at either one of those, that would be a cool show because literally it's like a bar with a stage the size of this drum room, right? So to see them at a place like that would be crazy.
We do have still Maxwell's in Waterloo.
Yeah, Maxwell sucks.
It's not that bad. My sister's played Maxwell's.
I've seen a lot. Maxwell's is a big metal box. It is not a good sound room at all. It is just a tin can. There's a lot of people who do not like the sound of that place, and have never liked the sound of that place.
Okay, but that being the case, which I don't know, I'm not an audio guy. I don't know. I was just going to say that Michael Morwood is going to see Crownlands at Maxwell's, and I'm kind of considering going with them. I'm not the biggest Crown. They're okay.
I don't
they
know.
They have great hair, great beards. Oh my God, so silky. So silky.
Well, you gotta see them then, eh? With great hair.
I might. I might because
great beards. I'm coming.
What's that?
You guys have great beards. I'm coming.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like you want to get back out there and see a show, and it's like me, I got the crowd phobia and shit like that, and I don't really. I prefer to go see a local show. Yeah, that's just something I'm considering. Then again, you guys might have the opportunity to be playing live at some point in the coming year. I would hope. As shit.
Are you talking about?
Max
Are
the
you talking about Max the Axe?
Max the Axe, I
Well-
would hope. Although we don't have the boathouse anymore.
You know what?
Here's a bit of an exclusive.
Oh.
This is kind of an exclusive. This is kind of weird because I haven't really said this to Max,
Oh,
but I might be done with that.
what? You're done singing?
I don't. Yeah, I think I might be done with it. I just
You're
don't
gonna
know if
break
I'm
Harrison Copp's heart.
I don't know if I'm really in it. I know what. Hey, we'll see. But right now, I'm leaning towards saying, eh.
Well,
It's nothing to do with. It's not a slight towards anyone in the Maxiac family or whatever that. But I just don't know if I'm into it yet. I guess we'll see.
It's like Bruce Dickinson when he left Iron Maiden in 1993.
No, it's not.
You're gonna come out with your Tattooed Millionaire album.
It's like when
Rob Halford left Judas Priest in 1992.
It's like when the guy down at the liquor store ended up not hanging around the liquor store anymore. That's what it is.
When Jay and Silent Bob stopped hanging out
Yeah,
at the front of the quick stop.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it's like. There you go.
Here's my.
It's not like Bruce Dickinson. It's like Jay and Silent Bob.
Here's my suggestion to you. Keep recording. Whether you play live or not, keep recording.
We'll see. And if Mike sees this, I'm gonna get a phone call.
If he's watching. If he's watching.
Why am I putting an exclusive on here?
I don't know, but I mean, it's like, I mean, we got something at least. Fuck, I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? It's I was gonna post like this great Dave Lizmi interview tomorrow, and now it's like Eric Litwiller interview with shocking news. You know, it's like
no.
Rick Emmett was on the front cover of the...
I did not cut the cord. I got a pair of scissors ready.
I feel like I'm the Toronto Sun. You're Rick Emmett, and Trevor is Gil Moore.
No cutting of the cord yet.
I would stick with it.
Like that.
I'm not in a band right now, and I wish I was. It's one of those things. I'm sure when you're in a band, it's kind of like, I don't have time for this anymore. But then when you're not in a band, you're like, I wish I was still in a band. So I'm envious of you for being in a band that can play live and do all that stuff. That's cool. That's a blast. I've done it. It's awesome.
Well, the thing for me, it's I don't want to get too philosophical here, but when it comes down to it, like it's because it's part and parcel with the drum thing. And I had some medical issues that happened last year, and because of that, it's not as easy for me to do the drum thing. And to be perfectly honest, the drum thing had been actually more interesting for me for a while. So the frustration of not knowing if I can really do the drum thing anymore, which is unknown, it's kind of like put me in a spot where I don't really know if I want to do any more of the singing either. Maybe it's just the way it is. That they kind of go together. I mean, a lot of times, like we were doing like dual shows where the one show.
Yes, I saw you play drums and then lead sing later the same night. Yeah.
We were doing a lot of that. So my feelings,
Dave,
on either are related to each other.
Jesus Christ, Ricky, there he is.
Answer your phone.
Screw the
Smell this kitty. Smells like cigarettes.
Trevor, you remember Joe Perry?
From Aerosmith?
No, Joe Perry.
No, that
Joe
the
Perry.
other Joe Perry.
Oh yes, Joe.
Right.
Joey Joe Stabado.
So he posted like some picture of him. Well, this bronzed specimen of him like selfieing in the mirror. And so we were kind of like posting pictures of people that he looked like. And Tom Morwood suggested Ming the Merciless. I suggested Khan. I suggested Khan, and he responded to me, "Nah, I don't play Space." Which, of course, I knew immediately was a reference to the episode where Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles are all in the middle of the road getting stoned and playing space in the middle of the road. And Ricky's like, Rocket Ship 7, this is Jupiter 9. We got to refuck the carbonator and probably land on Juniper, and hopefully they got some space weed over. And Bubbles is like, Ricky, can't you use real space words instead of space weed? Fucking great episode. Trailer Park Boys haven't been that good in years.
Yeah, there were some pretty good ones.
Lizmi texting somebody. I hear somebody's phone buzzing.
That wasn't me.
Who knows? I wasn't planning on coming
Well,
here.
that's the
I
ticket
didn't
stub.
know what was going on.
There it is.
Oh,
the
yeah.
kiss. August 6th. August 6th. There you go.
96. 96.
Wow.
Let me see if I can find one that
That was a busy summer.
Eric would like.
The Stanley
August
Park
6th.
store was still open in 96, man. The Stanley Park
What?
store was still open.
Yeah, February
Yeah.
97. The Cambridge store opened.
We closed that
Yeah.
Stanley Park store over the Christmas break of 96.
Yeah.
Remember
it
how
was-
you guys basically gutted it in a night?
What's that?
That is
I get
Metallica.
tickets.
Metallica
yeah.
2004.
Nice.
So that would be St. Anger.
Nice. I don't still have my Metallica 1985.
AC/DC, Rogers Center, and it's Jan 8, 2009, Black Ice Tour.
Yeah.
Indeed, it was.
I've been listening to AC/DC a lot this week. Power Up is a decent album, you know. It's probably the
Oh,
best
yeah.
one they've done since Razor's Edge.
I haven't listened to it yet.
You know, there's a tune on there called Through the Mists of Time. And it's like, when the song titles for the new AC/DC leaked, I was like, these are all fake. Because Through the Mists of Time, that's not an AC/DC song. That's like a Led Zeppelin song. And then, of course, I was totally wrong, and it was a real AC/DC song. And it's, in my opinion, the best tune on the album. It's great.
You will both appreciate this one.
Okay. Steve Earle? No. What is
I can't
that?
read
Bon
it.
Jovi! 89! Holy shit! 89!
Fucking wanted dead or
Wow.
alive, man.
New Jersey tour.
It was
Wow.
badass.
And that is where you told me that John Bon Jovi did aerobics on stage.
No. I won those tickets from 97.7, and we drove to Hamilton to see Bon Jovi, and it was gayer than a tambourine.
Yeah, you told me you'd never go see him live again.
Oh, horrible.
And they suck
Funny.
now. I mean, I will not mince words. From the YouTube videos that I've seen, John has no voice. And in my opinion, the best singer in the band is no longer in the band.
Well, come on. When a band of gloss doesn't have any more gloss, it's time to hang it up.
I think they should have packed it up after Keep the Faith.
I liked the new, These Days album, as you are aware. These Days, I liked. But I do remember this.
I like the thought that a Kitchener boy is in Bon Jovi. I like that aspect, but
Is he
I
from
don't.
Kitchener?
Oh yeah,
Bill X?
true story. This is a true story, but
Yes.
again,
Relax.
more true story. The first time I ever watched anybody play guitar in my life, I went to a guy named Craig Farr's place in Grade 9 to watch a band jam called Savage Deed. Joe Delio was in it or whatever. But the band that was playing in the room before, like we showed up early, and there was a band playing in the room, and they're really loud. And the band playing in the room before was Sid and X, who the lead singer of Sid and X. It was Todd Farhood, which was my buddy's a brother, a brother's. So at one point, like, he opened the door, and I'm seeing this guy wailing on guitar. And the first time I ever saw anybody play actual live guitar was Phil X in the 80s, or Phil X.
Wow.
True story. Yep.
I can tell you that Deke does not like Phil X.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know.
The story is that Phil X did an interview. This is after he got in Bon Jovi. And he did an interview where he said that, at this stage of his life, he doesn't leave his porch for less than $10,000. And that just rubbed Deke the wrong way. He did not like that at all. So Deke, he cannot stand Phil X at this point. Another guy that Deke can't. I don't know if I should say this or not. We didn't say it. We're going to go ahead and say it. Another guy that Deke doesn't care for anymore is Daryl Dwarf from the Killer Dwarfs. Back in the fall, Deke approached Daryl about appearing on the show. And we'd already interviewed Stormforce, and we were really riding a high from that. It went really well. And Daryl Dwarf responded to Deke to get back to him after we had some more hours under our belts. And Deke, like, that's a reasonable answer. It's not a terrible answer, even though Daryl Dwarf is doing like fucking nothing right now. But Deke was just like, fuck you. Fuck you.
And that's a reasonable reaction too. It's all reasonable.
And don't forget the guy whose name rhymes with Smilly Schmeehan.
Billy Sheehan.
Deke did a feature on his website called 10 Questions With. And he sent one of these to Billy Sheehan, and Billy Sheehan responded. And he asked him questions, about things like Max Webster, when Billy Sheehan was very, very briefly in Max Webster. Oh, you didn't know about that, Trev?
I don't think I knew that, no.
Very briefly. Okay, so this illustrates the point. Deke asked him about when he was in Max Webster, and Billy Sheehan responded, common knowledge. Obviously not common knowledge if the world's biggest Max Webster fan was not aware of it.
How did he get mixed up in Max Webster?
Buffalo, very close to, the Toronto area. And they were buds. In fact, David Lee Roth, for Eat 'em and Smile, demoed Max Webster's Kids in Action.
That's
true fact.
Well, that Kids in Action is Kim Mitchell.
It was Kids in Action, was it not? I'm certain it was Kids in Action.
Yeah.
Roth, I believe that's the song that Roth covered. It's never been released. And I believe
Roth covered Kids in Action.
100%.
What?
And that came through.
Where is that? Is it on any recorded piece of material, or
it's never been leaked? Hang on, I'm gonna Google this and see if
I
can find you.
I don't think you're gonna find that.
Yeah, here we go. David Lee Roth said a version of Kids in Action, originally by Kim Mitchell of Max Webster, was also recorded for this album. However, due to time constraints, this song was not included. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Wouldn't that have been wild?
I listened to there's a station on Sirius XM called Hair Nation.
Yes.
And the other day, Keith Roth was talking about Van Halen, and he said that Sammy Hagar was almost in the first Van Halen.
Because I think they were a fan of him from Montrose.
They ended up deciding on David Lee Roth at the last minute. And then fast forward, of course, 10 or whatever years, and they ended up putting him in. I'm like, I had no idea he had any affiliation to Van Halen at that point.
I think
what it would have been with Sammy Hagar in the 70s without Dave.
It would have been so weird, eh? They never would have.
They
never would have had
anywhere near what they are now. I mean, other than Edward would have been little Sean, right?
But they would have been like this kind of just regular classic rock sounding band, like that was during the era of Hagar's solo stuff, which was basically straight ahead classic rock with those. Yeah,
there wouldn't have been any sexual innuendo. There wouldn't have been any of that.
The only sexual innuendo would have been about racks of lamb. Funny. It's funny. I like to imagine alternate universes where these things really did happen. And, you can find some kind of neat stuff on YouTube. Like, I saw one guy put together a theoretical album that might have come next if the Beatles had put out one more album. So he kind of took all the best songs from John's first solo album and all the best songs from Paul's first and all of George's best solo tracks and kind of jammed them together. It's been maybe this could have been the next Beatles album.
Well, sure, that they were all writing it. They probably had them all written at that time before they broke up. They just didn't use them there, right?
For sure, especially George. I mean, we all know George didn't get his songs on the album, didn't get his songs on. Did you ever see that movie Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
There's a scene where Dewey Cox meets the four Beatles, and they're all played by celebrities. Paul Rudd plays Lennon. Jack Black plays McCartney, and I can't remember. I think it's shit. The guy from Rushmore plays like Ringo, and Justin Long Schwartzman plays Ringo, and Justin Long plays George Harrison. And it's like this really cheesy thing where he like talks to all four Beatles in a row, and he says to Lennon, he's like, what is it? Why are we in India, Lennon? And he says, well, with transcendental meditation, there's nothing that you can't imagine. And he says, that's pretty good. What do you think, George Harrison of the Beatles? And he's like, I don't know. I just wish I could get more songs on the album, He's like, that's deep. How about you, Ringo Starr? And he's like, I just like to have fun. And then Dewey Cox goes, I like the little one. It's a great scene. It's like the only great scene in the movie. Although there's a scene where Jack White plays Elvis Presley, and you can't understand a word that Jack White says as Elvis Presley. It's like, bam,
that's
pow.
a pretty good movie, actually. There's good scenes in that movie. That's a good movie.
Kristen, what's her name?
Kristen Bell.
No, from SNL.
Kristen
Wiig. She plays his wife, and she's constantly pregnant. She's like literally dropping babies out of her while she's doing the dishes in the kitchen.
That's a pretty good movie, man. There's some good stuff in that movie.
It's like fun. A spoof of the Johnny Cash movie.
Oh, totally. It's a Walk the Line bio spoof. That's what it is. Yeah.
I love the scene where he always catches his band doing drugs. And it's
that's always a good
what are you guys doing? We're smoking grass. Well, what's it do to you? Oh, it's really bad. It's really bad. Oh, yeah? Like what? It makes you feel good and everything's funny all the time.
There's some really good lines in that, actually. I would Tim Meadows. It's Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows. It was Tim Meadows. I was thinking Don Cheadle, but it was Tim Meadows.
No, it's Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows. And there's some good funny lines in that, for sure.
Yeah. So there you go, Trev. There's your weekend viewing.
Since I got two of the, quote unquote founding members in front of me here, what are you guys? Do you guys still do Sausage Fest?
Yes.
Or has that been on hiatus for a couple of years since COVID, or no?
For 1 year. No, they did one last year during that brief window. There was a very brief window at the end of the summer where
the restrictions dropped.
It's always the second week in July, and last year we had to move it to the late August. This year, same thing. We had to move it to, now it's August 20th. And funny enough, it's the 20th year coming up on August 20th.
That's
we're looking forward to it. It's 20 years of it.
Yeah.
Me and some buddies here, we started going to my cottage and kind of doing the same thing.
You used to have the photographs. We would develop the roll of photographs, and you'd be like, I don't know what's going to be on here.
Yeah, there are penises, and there are drinks, and there are all kinds of crazy. But there's only like 6 of us to go.
Didn't you guys get the photos developed one time, and she saw a penis in one of the photographs?
I don't.
I could swear that your mom developed the photos for you one time. She's like, Trevor, there's a picture in here that I shouldn't have seen, or something like. It's triggering me. Because somebody.
So we used to go to my cottage in Wyerton, and then so they tore the cottage down and built a brand new one. So then all the guys felt bad about going to my cottage, and they didn't want to wreck, the new cottage. So we rent a cottage in Blythe now, and go there. And we've been doing that for 22 years now.
Where's Blythe?
Wow.
Like east of Godrich.
Wow.
Okay.
And there's like
cool.
There's 6 or 7 of us that go every year. Sometimes we do it twice a year. We haven't done it in about a year and a half now because of all this COVID crap. But I think coming up in September we're doing one.
Yeah, I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, it's fun. We just sit around and we tunes crank, drinks, poker. You guys,
the whole
you guys have a lot more people at yours.
Well, and also this guy here
that we go through the stuff that me and Tom Morwood and our partner in crime Bucky with the stuff we spend so much time every year on it. It's more time than you could even. It's ungodly the amount of time, and like
I can imagine if you're trying to bring, like, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know if you guys bring the food and try to feed everybody.
no, it's not that. But people bring no food.
Logistics.
It's the music thing that we count down. You know, we every year we count down 100 songs. So we have to first get people to send in their list, then tabulate it, then make a list. Then we have to DJ a 100 song countdown and then play
Plus
it.
all your comedy sketches in between, which are really the most work, I think,
And
because you guys do like layered productions and full
Yeah.
musical numbers now.
So like, it's year 20. 5 years ago, we did a parody of the Wall, and it was about 45 minutes of the Wall that we found, like the betting tracks, and we just wrote our own lyrics and made lyrics for the Wall. And man, I'm telling you, it took a long time. Holy cow, did it take a long time? But we were happy with it. So we had, for year 20, we're doing the same thing. We have done an album in full, and it's recorded and done and ready to go. And we'll see what happens. I'm really happy with it.
Is this another
and to give you an idea of the mass of people, I went through it, and including the three of us and a couple of people that aren't really related, there are 28 different people that are mentioned in the intro.
Oh no!
So there's a lot of people that are covered. So yeah.
So how many people would come to that every year?
Anywhere
20 to
from
30.
23 to 33, somewhere in that area. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing, is that there's the old generation, the guys that are our age, and then now there's an entire younger generation. You were talking about Tom's brother Tim. Well, his son Michael is now an attendee. Michael didn't exist when we went to see Kiss. So there's this whole second generation, and they're into tunes. Like, they're into bands I never heard of.
Michael didn't exist in Sausage Fest 1.
Yeah. But yet he is like you'd be shocked. You'd think the guy is 10 years older by his musical knowledge. Like, he's so far advanced. So far advanced.
He knows stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. So, it's gonna be fun. Can't wait.
And a lot of those younger guys are so talented musically. Like, there's guys that can play every instrument. When they start jamming up there, because we had them jamming a couple of years. We had a stage and we had jams. They were fucking great.
Yeah,
they were fucking great.
Yeah, it's just people flock together that are passionate about music, and that's the way it goes.
Passionate about music or passionate about eating barbecued food.
That too.
Because there's, it's funny. There's one or two guys, not very many, but there's one or two guys who sometimes tell me, I'm not really that into the music.
Well, really?
I'm trying to think of who it was.
I don't know who that would be. They should just go knit.
Chuck, maybe? Chuck? Maybe?
I don't know. I doubt it's Chuck. No,
what are you doing here then?
Mark Elms, maybe. Maybe it was Mark Elms.
I know Mark Elms likes the music. I don't know.
Maybe I'm sure confused. It's not you. I might be confused.
Are you sure you weren't talking to yourself?
I might be confused. I will tell you that at Frank Tom's, though, he just stares at me blank.
He's an honorary member, and frankly, I think we actually mentioned him too much in the goddamn intro. So
Frank Tom's, aka Fred Flintstone. I'll be talking to him about
no. Fred Flintstone on crack.
Fred Flintstone on crack. I'll be talking to him about bands and stuff, and he'll be like just staring at me blank face. He'll be like, I don't know anything about the actual bands. I just hear the songs and I like the songs. I don't know who sings them. That's what I'm thinking of. It's Frank. It's not that he doesn't like the music. It's just that he doesn't have his brain cells invested in the knowledge. He doesn't give a shit about that. He just likes the songs.
It's true enough.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's 8:15. Dave is not showing up.
Well, you know, this is why I said earlier, you guys feel like it's deja vu, and it is a little Waterloo. Hey,
The only thing is, last time we were
still
prepared.
very deja vu.
We were prepared last time. This time, oh, there's Frank giving me the agreement on that comment. Nothing about being a Fred Flintstone lookalike. Do you think Frank Toms looks like Fred Flintstone? Yay or nay?
On crack.
On crack.
Fred Flintstone's illegitimate son. Maybe.
I don't know. So anyway, let's start wrapping up here. I'm gonna go barbecue some pork chops.
Wrap it up. I'm having fun.
You're having fun? Okay.
Frank Tom is the king of bedrock.
If we're gonna continue, which I have no problem with, if we're gonna continue.
Oh, I'm leaving.
You're leaving?
I'm just letting you know. But I'm taking off.
Okay. I my ears are starting to hurt from these buds. They're not very good.
Hey, Trev, it's great to see you again, man.
As always.
We're gonna have to run into it at a show somewhere, whatever it is.
Indeed.
I will just grab my
that.
schedule. Just grab my schedule here. We'll go over the next couple of weeks worth of shows. Next week is the one I've been looking forward to the most. The list theme is make music that makes your skin vibrate. So each of us are going to pick 11 tunes, just 11 tunes that make our skin vibrate. This is a special
good way or a bad way.
That's a good question. I think you could go either way.
Well, when you said vibrate, I'm like, I didn't quite know what you meant.
Well, I'm hoping in a good way. But this is a special show because it's going to be a birthday celebration for myself and for Mr. Harrison Kopp. We're going to do a birthday celebration for both of us. And I don't know who's all going to be there.
Harrison Kopp, I know he doesn't want there to be a whole hubbub going on. And personally, I don't care because I'm thinking of working on a special Nigel Tufnell top 10 list of celebrities that look like Harrison Kopp.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. Jared Leto might.
Oh yeah. He's already been jotted down. See?
Oh, good. Harrison says, "Go with what you want to do." As far as that goes, I know that we have Rob Daniels.
I want to make love to Harrison Kopp.
Okay, so I'm just going to cut you off. I know we got Rob Daniels lined up for next week. I know we have what's his face? Brain fart.
See,
that's a weird name.
I just totally forgot who we're having on next week with Brent Jensen. It may be by if he's available. Brent Jensen will be dropping by to wish us happy birthday and tell us some songs that make his skin vibrate. We got Lana Terami from Hawaii will be joining us in her very first appearance on the show.
That'd be very cool.
I don't know if you're joining us. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't believe
I'll be dropping in and saying hi.
Awesome. So yeah, it'll just be kind of a free for all. We're going to do our lists, and hopefully some special guests will drop by. Maybe my mom. So that's next week. The week after that's another show I'm really excited about. We got this new artist out of Montreal. He's a multi-instrumentalist, does everything himself, named Polychuck. And the other cool thing about Polychuck is he's a mixed martial artist, which is a total different world for me. I know nothing about it, but the guy's got pictures on his social media of him playing like wicked Ibanez guitars, and then other pictures of him like doing high kicks.
Like, so is he in the UFC, or is he touring the UFC, or what?
I don't believe he does. I think he's just an enthusiast. I think he does it on the side. I think the music is his main thing. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out next week. Good, amazing guitar player. He's really into shredders like Paul Gilbert, that kind of shreddy guitar playing. So we're looking forward to talking to Polychuck. After that, I've got an open schedule for the entire month of August. We're hopefully going to fill that up with list shows. And then, tentatively, September 3rd.
Dave Lizmi.
I'm not going to go there. September 3rd, tentatively, the series finale. I say that tentatively because we don't know which way COVID's going to go, but I said that I would keep doing this as long as COVID is kind of keeping us indoors on Friday nights, and it does look like things are starting to reopen, and I kind of arbitrarily have tentatively decided that maybe the end of the summer is a good time to wrap up the weekly show. Having said that, I don't plan on going away. We'll come back monthly, bi-weekly, tri-weekly, whatever. Anytime we have something to talk about, a fun list show or a good interview. We have other interviews that we're working on. So
here's something to talk about. You know, another guy who I think looks like Harrison Kopp is a Jeff Galooly, if you know who that is.
Jeff Galooly? Who's Jeff?
Trev does.
The guy that's carrying it, right?
I'm googling Jeff Galooly.
The guy, the guy with the guy who hit
Tonya Harding.
Tonya Harding, thank you.
Tonya Harding.
Yes, I see the resemblance. We're going to put him up on the screen here. It's a picture of him with
There's
Tonya
a
Harding.
little bit of Jeff Galooly in Harrison Kopp. I put it on the screen.
There is a little bit of Jeff Galooly.
And if there isn't, maybe there should be.
Now, okay. Just with Helmet, because there's a Marvel connection. Look up Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan.
As Jeff Galooly.
Yes, he's playing him, I think, in a movie.
Now put that up.
Okay, hang on.
Put up a Sebastian Stan as Jeff Galooly.
Waiting.
We're waiting.
Yes, I've seen these pictures already. There we go. Here's a good one.
Google.
Here we go. Blow that up.
Sebastian Stan. Yeah, now he does have the long hair, but it's very Harrison Kopp.
You know what's really funny, though? You know what's really funny, Eric, about what you just said?
Yeah.
Is that there are surprises planned for next week, and one of them may involve celebrities that may or may not look like Harrison Kopp.
I haven't talked to you about this before. No. I've already been kind of doing this without any prodding whatsoever.
This is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Been making this for 3 years now.
Oh shit, Harrison. Harrison is kind of shy, and I don't think he likes all this attention. But he doesn't really have a choice. This is what's happening next week.
Well, I'm sorry, Harrison. Rock ain't shy.
Rock ain't shy. No. All right, guys. Let's go out on a song. And I know, Meat, you don't want to hear yourself sing anymore.
No.
So,
no.
Do you want to go out on one of those Rob Zabo tunes?
Yeah, I got the time.
Got the time? Okay, so this is by the band Clockwork Orange, featuring Rob Zabo on rhythm guitar. Rob Zabo was in an awesome band called the Groove Daddies, which later became Plasticine. Plasticine was a separate band.
Marigold
and Plasticine were the same. They changed their name from Marigold to Plasticine. That was it. Okay, so this is Got the Time by Clockwork Orange. Thank you guys for filling this hour and a half for me. A little bit disappointed, but hey, it's rock and roll. That's rock and roll.
Good to see you again, Trev.
Yes, you too, Meat. Thanks, man. Let's hook up time.
Have a great night, guys.
Sure.
Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you another time. Cheers. This got the time.
Sir.
I got the time.
Another one. This is a little Anthrax song, originally written by Joe Jackson, called "Got the Time." Letter just right. Thank God, gotta get this letter just right. Little ringing on the telephone, way off with the ringing in the head now. No such thing as tomorrow. Only 1, 2, 3, go time! It's time ticking, ticking in my head. Turn! The time ticking, ticking in my head. Turn! The time ticking, ticking in my head. Ticking in my head. Ticking in my head. Ticking in my head. Someone doesn't what the time is. I don't know. They know I gotta go now. No time trying to get my watch repaired. No time, never got a thing to wear. They're ringing on the telephone, way off with the ringing on my head now. No such thing as tomorrow. Only 1, 2, 3. my head. Feel the time tick tick ticking in my head. Feel the time tick tick ticking in my head. Ticking in my head. Ticking in my head. Ticking in my head. No such thing as tomorrow. All we want, 2, 3, go time! Feel the time tick tick ticking in my head. Feel the time tick tick ticking in my head. Feel the time tick tick ticking in my head. Ticking in my head. Feel the time tick tick ticking in my head.